focused on the growth mindset and developing things for children. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is to be purpose-driven. And in order to be purpose-driven, you got to be able, or I hope you have opportunity, to read the Warren's book called The Purpose-Driven Life. It's a phenomenal book. You're encouraged to read the book over 40 days. You are actually encouraged to read one chapter every day. If you don't have time to read the book, I'm going to jump on your side. Go to Barnes & Noble, pick up the book, open up the book, and look at the first sentence on the first page, first chapter. And it says one of the most powerful things I've ever heard. It says, "This is not about you." We are carers and advocates for children and making a difference in their lives. It's not about us. It is about focusing on the growth, development, enhancement, and expansion of children. So this word I'm holding up is called ego. If this is about you, then this is not what you're doing. If this is about making a difference, please do that. So this word ego, every time that you are working with children, you're in a situation, you have to make a difference. Take this word physically, symbolically, mentally, emotionally, and wrinkle it up. Because any time that you can go to somebody to get help, to empower, to find, please do that. Please, whatever you do, let the ego go and be purpose-driven. But after you're purpose-driven, you got to have what's called a positive paradigm. Dr. Stephen Covey, about 20 years ago, wrote a phenomenal book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's an excellent, excellent book. It's so powerful that his son Sean Covey said, "Dad, this book is really great. Let's write a book for teenagers." And they wrote the book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. But in that book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, they do teach the concept of a paradigm. A paradigm is your point of view, frame of reference. It's how you see yourself. It's how you see the world around you. You can either have a negative paradigm or you can have a positive paradigm. An activity that I would encourage you to do with the young people that you work with, share with them what a paradigm is. Give them 2 pair of glasses which look like this. Negative paradigm, positive paradigm. Encourage them first to fill out a negative paradigm in the lens of the glasses. Again, remind them what a paradigm is, the way you see yourself, the world around you, and where you're going. Have them write in the lens of the glasses some things, such as I can't, I give up, college is too hard, a career is too hard, I cannot make it, I can't improve my grades. Actually have them write that in the lens of the glasses. Have them look at it for about 5 seconds, get a waste paper basket, wrinkle it up, and throw it away. Give them a second pair of glasses, which represents a positive paradigm. Review it again, but in the lens of these glasses here, write some positive things. I've got the power. I'm awesome. I've got the victory. I can go to college. I can achieve. I can understand and learn STEM. Have them write those things in the lens of those glasses, but instruct them, direct them not to throw this positive paradigm away. Tell them to look at this paradigm every single day that they get up. Every single day in which they are challenged to look at the positive paradigm because it specifically and directly talks about them. After they see that they've got this positive paradigm, we got to encourage them to have what's called a positive attitude. Oh, please, whatever you do as you work with young people, teach them the word attitude. Because attitude is a very powerful word. It's one of the most powerful words in the English language. But you know what the challenge is? Many people use it in the wrong context. You hear it all the time. He got an attitude. She got an attitude. They got attitude. But they are using it in the wrong context. If you look at the work of Dr. Chuck Swindoll, he'll tell you this. Something happens, 10% is what happens, but 90% is how you choose to respond to it. What a powerful message to teach our young people. Attitude is the mind's paintbrush. It can color any and every situation. Look at the work of Dr. Paul Stoltz. He writes what's called an IQ, EQ, and AQ. For years and years, it was thought that if you were going to be successful, you had to have a high IQ, which was your intellectual quotient. Dr. Stoltz said, well, that's got something to do with it, but it's not the determining factor. Then they said, no, it's your EQ, which stands for your emotional quotient. How you interact with people, your human relation skills, your interpersonal skills, how you fit in climates, how you fit in the culture. Dr. Stoltz said, yeah, that's got a little bit more to do with it, but again, that's not the determining factor. The determining factor is what's called your AQ, which is your adversity quotient. Your adversity quotient is how do you get And how do you overcome obstacles? How do you overcome setbacks? Because successful people do all the things that unsuccessful people choose not to do. Success is not measured by heights attained, it's measured by obstacles overcome. Can you imagine if we develop that growth mindset in our children at a very young age? When they get to you, they'll have that positive attitude. They'll have that adversity quotient, and they'll be able to do things and overcome obstacles like there's no tomorrow. So that attitude concept, please, whatever you do, as you're working with young people to graduate, to pursue a career, to go to college, please teach them the concept of attitude. After you teach them the concept of attitude, whatever you do, please teach them the concept of personal accountability. Okay? Now I got to tell you, I'm old. In about 3 weeks, I'm getting ready to celebrate my 60th birthday. And I got to share this with you. The thing is, though, I love music. I'm so old that in my den, I've got albums. Okay? So do me a favor here, okay? If you are sitting next to somebody who's 30 years of age or under, can you describe and explain to them what an album is? Well, do me a favor. After you have explained to them, what an album is, I need to really kind of listen to this or share this. I'm looking at my record albums, and I'm glad nobody's here from my church other than Eric. But I love music, all types of music. One of my favorite groups is a rock group called Rush. They are 3 members out of Canada. The drummer's powerful. He writes all the lyrics. So I'm looking at a Rush album and I see this quote. And the quote goes like this: Success is not measured by heights attained. It's measured by obstacles overcome. But it also talks about the concept of success is not about you just sitting and waiting for something, but you've got to make it happen. See, there are 3 different types of people in the world that I would encourage you to explain to the young people that you work with. First set of people make great things happen. Second set of people wait for things to happen. Third set of people wondered what happened. Okay? We want to teach our young people and empower them through developing internal motivation and intrinsic motivation into them that you want to be in that first set of people, that you are going to make great things happen. Positive paradigm, positive attitude, practicing personal accountability, believing in yourself, that's going to propel and get you to go. Because see, what we want our young people to do is to have what's called internal motivation. 2 different types of motivation: external motivation and internal motivation. External motivation means that a young person's done something, you comment, you compliment, you award, you reward. We should do that. But the more powerful motivation is the internal and intrinsic motivation. That means that I've got a self-fulfilling prophecy. I am motivated inwardly to do well. I want success because I see how it's going to benefit me. That's what we want in our young people, and that's going to be something that's going to cause them to succeed and to do very, very well. So we got to teach that concept to them. Daniel Pink's got an excellent book called Drive. Read it. He talks about the concept as far as purpose is concerned. For our young people to understand the concept of personal accountability, there's got to be that inward drive. You know what's inside your inward drive? First is autonomy. I don't have to do things just simply one way. To be successful, I can choose different ways to get to it. Okay? Next is I got to have some mastery. I got to feel some success as I'm doing it. And then I've got to understand that what's my purpose in that situation. So I've got to understand those concepts in reference to my inner drive and accountability in that situation and setting like that. But check out what you are called to do. Please see what you do as a calling. If you're in this for money, can I come work where you work? Okay. But see it as a calling. Okay? Because when you see things as a calling and when you are purpose-driven, you consistently have that domain of thinking, that prism of thinking, and you're going to see the success. I love reading books, and one of my favorite books, or one of my favorite authors, is Joel Osteen. And his first book was called Living Your Best Life Now, Your Best Life Now. He tells a phenomenal story in this book. And the story pretty much goes like this. There was this this builder, this contractor, that had been down on his luck for about 18 months to 2 years. A rich, wealthy man walks up to him and says this. Says, Mr. Contractor, Mr. Builder, I know you've been down on your luck for a long time. I'm going to write you a check for $300,000. I'm going to give you this check, and I need you to go build a house for me. But I got to tell you something, Mr. Contractor, Mr. Builder. I've got a lot of things going on. Excited, elated, happy, the contractor takes the check. He begins to build the house. As he's building the house, he begins to notice something. He begins to notice that that rich, wealthy man who gave him the check does not come and check on him each and every single day. So instead of buying the best windows for the house, he finds the cheapest windows that he can find. He takes the extra money and he sticks it in his pocket. Instead of buying the best pipes and plumbing for the house, he finds the cheapest pipes, the cheapest plumbing. He takes the extra money and he sticks it in his pocket. Oh, instead of buying the best wood and foundation for the house, he finds the cheapest wood, the cheapest foundation. He takes the extra money and he sticks it in his pocket. After about 6 to 8 months, the house is complete. The builder, contractor, goes and gets the rich man. He says, Mr. Rich, wealthy man, come and take a look at the house. The rich, wealthy man comes to the house. They walk around on the outside of the house, and the rich, wealthy man says to the contractor, you know something? It looks pretty good. They go inside, they walk upstairs, they walk around on the second floor, and again, the contractor says to the rich man, how's it look? The rich man says, it looks pretty good. They come downstairs, they walk around on the first floor, and he says again, how does it look? And of course, the response is, it looks pretty good. But then they are standing at the front door. The rich, wealthy man is looking at the contractor. The contractor is looking back at the rich, wealthy man. And the rich, wealthy man shares and utters these words. He says, you know something, Mr. Contractor? I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed. I really have every single thing that I need. This house that you build, you did not build it for me. You built this house for yourself. What does this have to do with us who are educators and care about children? It has everything. The ultimate definition of character is what you do when no one else is looking at you. When you are working with that young person, when you are empowering that young person, when you are guiding that young person, when you're providing a vision for that young person, when you're developing self-esteem in that young person, when you are encouraging that young person to come over obstacles, how do you see what you're called to do? Because if you really stop and think about it, this is not about a paycheck. This is about making a difference in the life of a young person. And that's what you're called to do. That's what we're called to do. And when we do that, we've got to look at what's called our insight over our eyesight. See, eyesight is what you physically see. Insight is what could possibly be. And when we're working with young people and building them up, we need to rely on our insight instead of our eyesight. Again, eyesight is what you physically see. Insight is what could possibly be. Eyesight's going to say difficulty. Insight's going to say determination. Eyesight's going to say obstacle, but insight's going to say opportunity. Eyesight's going to say mishap, but insight's going to say miracle. Eyesight's going to say probability, but insight's going to say possibility. As we work with young people making a difference in their lives, we need to decrease our eyesight, increase our insight, and turn on our heart light. It's all about what you're looking for in a young person. The president has a very powerful message that he says, and his message is, if you look at anything long enough, you can find something wrong with it. The whole thing is, what are you choosing to look for? And that's where we focus on what's called the insight. So we have to kind of think about that in situation. And whatever you do, always understand why you do something. Dr. Simon Sinek has written a book called Start with Why Instead of How. Just kind of Google it. It's really very, very powerful. Most people, when they want to do something or need to do something, they start with how. Dr. Simon Sinek says, no, you start with why. Why is your motivation about why you do something? That's your purpose. How is how you do it. That's the process. What is the product? Okay? So always, as you're working with young people, teach them. Why are you doing what you do? Because now they have to understand. I was talking to a group of people last night and they're trying to get some young people to do something. They didn't think about why to tell the people, why the young people to do it. They just jumped right to the how. And the kids did not want to do it. You got to start with why. It's going to make a difference. You're a role model. It's going to help you. That's why you go to the why first, then travel to the how, then travel to the what. So as we do all those things, it empowers and helps our young people. But what you got to do too is encourage within inside yourself and encourage young people to think and dream big. Please tell them to think and dream big. Why is that so very important? If I was to ask you where the richest place on the face of this planet, you say, Carlton, the richest place on the face of this planet? It's probably the diamond mines in Africa. Nice try, but no, it's not. Somebody else would say it's the U.S. Mint in Washington, D.C. Nice try, but no, it's not. Somebody else would raise their hands and say, no, no, no. I just heard about all this money that the CEO of Facebook has. That's where the richest place is. But no, it's not. The richest place, ladies and gentlemen, on the face of this planet is a cemetery or a graveyard. You might say, well, how do you come up with that? Because all the people that had dreams, desires, and aspirations that didn't fulfill those dreams, when they died, their dreams died with them. Tell children to think, or young people to think and dream big. Tell them that the world is out there for them. But you do have to work to get what you want. Okay? The only place you'll find the word success before the word work is in dictionary. Did you get that? That's the only place you'll see. You got to work first for success. And that teaches them back to paradigm, purpose, positive attitude, personal accountability, thinking and dreaming big. Once those things or those entities are placed in our children, it empowers them like there's no tomorrow. But as they think and dream big, tell them don't let a dream buster stop your dream. Because your dream is connected with your vision. And Willie Jolly talks about 4 dream busters. The first dream buster, tell young people, could be themselves. See, that's why you want to work with props. The first one could be yourself. Tell young people, if you say, I can't, I give up, it's too hard, I don't know how to do it, that self-talk is very, very important. Joel Osteen's new book is called The Power of I Am. What are you saying to yourself? We need to teach young people, what are you saying to yourself? How do you think about yourself? But if you're using words such as I can't, it's too hard, I'm never going to make it, oh, I can't do that, oh, I failed this test, I can't get better. Tell them that's the first thing that can stop their dream. So tell them to take this dream buster, wrinkle it up, and throw it away. The second dream buster is hanging out with and listening to negative, itty-bitty, small-minded people. Please encourage them. There are 2 different types of people in your life. Those that are positive and those that are negative. Those that will take you up and those that will take you down. Those that will move you forward and those that will take you back. Negative, itty-bitty, small-minded people, greet them, say hello to them, but when it comes down to your vision for success and your dream, you gotta let them go. Third dream buster is fear. Why are these stuck like this? It's fear. Tell them to go up. You got to grow up. To grow up, you get to move up. Fear is the third dream buster. And tell them you can actually learn to overcome fear by watching a 9 or 10-month-old baby. Because a 9 or 10-month-old baby crawls around on the floor. The baby gets up because the baby's trying to walk. The baby's got a vision at 9 or 10 months. The baby gets up, the baby tries to walk, but what happens? Baby falls down. But what does the baby do after it falls down? Baby gets back up. The baby at 9 or 10 months of age is overcoming its fear. Okay? We're only born with 2 different types of fear, the fear of falling down and the fear of loud noises. So wrinkle that one up, third dream buster. And the last dream buster is settling for mediocrity and settling for less. Empower children. Tell them never ever settle for less. You're too special. You are somebody. I teach even my 5-year-olds that I work with. I tell them you are somebody. I am somebody. The me I see is the me I'll be. Respect me, protect me, never reject me. Down with eyesight, up with insight. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm hopeful. I am bold, I'm brave, I'm beautiful. It's not the clothes that make the person, it's the person that makes the clothes. If it's to be, it's up to me. Never go to bed a loser, always wake up a winner. Always shoot for the moon. Your attitude determines your altitude. What you think about, you bring about. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. So work hard and watch good and great things happen. Tell them that they are somebody. Encourage them that you are unique. I am unique. What makes me unique? The way I think, the way I speak, who I listen to, who I admire. To learn about life, I got this burning desire. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. To do the right thing will make me unique and strong. Unique is special. Unique is great. Look at all the people I wish to emulate. For there's Douglas, Du Bois, and Tubman, to name a few. Look how they changed the world. Now it's a better place for me and you. To be unique is to always soar high, to try your best and reach for the sky. I am unique, so can't you see there's no one around who can duplicate me? Please tell them that they're unique. Every time you see them having a challenging time, replenish them, refresh them, remind them that you're special, unique, you're powerful, and you've got the victory. Please treat every single child that comes into your situation with caring, with love, with dignity, respect. Please do that. You know, when I present to teachers, I tell them this. First thing I say to them is, you can like teaching, but you got to love children. Okay? Okay? That's the nice part I say to them. After that, you know what I say to them? If you don't love children, please go find yourself something else to do. Please. Please. And tell them that you love them. You know, Mr. Harrison, to share with you, I get to work with 4 through 8-year-olds on Saturday mornings, but every summer for 6 weeks, every single day, I have a teen leadership academy. And I work with 30 middle and high school students every single day. And I got to connect with them as opposed to just communicate with them. Because the first day when they are coming there, it's June 22nd, they're just out of school, and I say, well, why are you in teen leadership? What's the number one answer I get? My mama told me I had to come, okay? My dad told me I had to come. But I got to connect with them and relate with them. And relationships are a significant part of how you connect with them. Dr. John Maxwell's book, oh my God, the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Please, whatever you do, look at the law of connectivity. He talks about the power of connecting with people, in our situation, connecting with young people as opposed to just communicating with them. Okay? Relationships, number one thing. Second thing, prove to me, or you have proven to me, that you got my best interests at heart. Third thing, you've got high expectations of me. Let that be your domain, because that's what young people are looking for you. You've related to me, you've connected with me, you have proven to me that you got my best interests at heart, and you have high expectations of me. Please do that. As I close in a couple of minutes, I want to kind of share this with you. No, I'm not going to give you any money. You know, I'm a preschool teacher, okay? I ain't had no money, okay? I had to fight for these stuff. No, I'm just kidding, okay? But please do that. If I was to ask you what's the value of this, you say, Carl, oh, for you guys in the cheap seats in the back, it's a $1 bill I'm holding up, okay? If I was to ask you what's the value of this, you say, Carlton, it's valued at $1. If I was to ask you what's the value of this one, you say it's valued at $1. I could fold this one up, wrinkle it up like there's no tomorrow. I could put it on this table, mash it into the table. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open it back up and ask you the same 2 questions. What's the value of this? Still valued at $1. What's the value of this one? Valued at $1. Why would you treat this one any differently than you would treat this one? Okay? Really, really powerful. All of my years, I've always worked in a Title I school. That's what I was called to do. I always wanted to work in a Title I school. Teaching kindergarten, some parents were 18 and 19 years of age that I worked with. Poverty, single parents, like there's no tomorrow. But that's what I wanted to do. That was my calling. So again, please see what you do as a calling. So 3 things real quick. First, I'm going to encourage you to do is to cover yourself as you work with children. The C stands for that you've got the courage to get through every challenge that's presented to you. The O stands for turn every obstacle into an opportunity for the young people that you work with to grow. The V stands for that you encourage children to be victorious and not victims. The E stands for that you are empowered to enlarge them like there's no tomorrow. And R, whatever you do, read something about helping young people every single day. I don't care how you do it, but read something about helping young people every single day. Next thing I encourage you to do is I encourage you to be faith-filled and not faithless. Please be faith-filled and not faithless. There's a story of this single man. Single man had custody of his 7 children. He worked extremely hard. He worked 6 days a week, 16 to 17 hours a day. Remember I told you he had 7 children. One day he's driving home. As he drives home, he turns on his block. As he turns on his block, he sees fire engines racing down his block. He follows the fire engines. The fire engines have stopped at his house because his house is engulfed in flames. He jumps out the car and he runs to the lawn because his children have assembled on the lawn. He runs over and he counts his children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he counts again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he says, oh my God, where's Jimmy? I don't see Jimmy. And he begins to yell at the top of his voice, Jimmy, Jimmy, where are you? And he doesn't hear anything. But he yells a little bit louder. Jimmy, Jimmy, where are you? He still doesn't hear anything. But then he yells at the top of his voice, Jimmy, Jimmy, where are you? And then he hears his faint voice. Daddy, Daddy, I'm upstairs in my room on the 2nd floor. I'm laying down next to my bed. There's fire over there. There's smoke over there. Jimmy, Jimmy, I'm down on the front lawn. I want you to jump and jump right now because the window's open. But Daddy, I can't see you. No, Jimmy, I want you to jump and jump right now. Jump, Jimmy. And through the window, through the smoke, through the fire, Jimmy jumps and he lands in his father's arms. Jimmy clutches his father and the father clutches Jimmy back. Jimmy looks at the father and the father looks back at Jimmy. And Jimmy says to his father, but Daddy, Daddy, I couldn't see you. And the father replied and said back, whether you can see me or not, I want you to always have faith that I will always, always be there for you. Whether you can see me or not, I want you to always, always have faith that I will be there with you. Couple of things for us to remind us, we are educators. Number 1, the young people that you work with, do they have faith in you? Number 2, do you have faith in them? And number 3, most importantly, do you have faith in what you've been called and placed to do? Can't do this without any faith. Can't do it. Got to be faith-filled. Lastly, I would encourage each and every single one of you to be what's called a Michelangelo. If you don't know the story of Michelangelo, Michelangelo was a great, great painter, but he was a unique sculptor. The unique thing that Michelangelo used to do is he'd go to this city. The city was known as the rejected city. And he'd get these different types of rocks. Some of the rocks were disfigured. Some were discombobulated. Some rocks were disoriented. But he'd get all these different rocks from the rejected city. He'd get these rocks, he'd bring them back, he'd set them up on his mantle, and he made these wonderful statues and statuettes. Michelangelo did this day after day. He did it month after month. He did it year after year. Finally, one day somebody walked up to him and said, Michelangelo, I don't get this. I can't grasp this. I can't put my arms around this. How do you make these beautiful statues and statuettes out of these discombobulated and disfigured rocks? Michelangelo replied and reciprocated these words. When I get the rock, I really don't see the rock. I look inside, I visualize, and I see the statue. And when I visualize and see that statue, I just chip away until the statue comes to life. God has called you to be a Michelangelo. Challenging, yes. Difficulties, yes. Obstacles, yes. Setbacks, yes. But if your dream is big enough for children, the setbacks and obstacles, they really don't matter. If your dream is big enough for you, who you've been called to make a difference in their lives, if it's really big enough, the obstacles and setbacks, they really, really don't matter. May God bless you for what you have been called to do. Please, please fulfill your vision and your motion and your growth mindset of making a difference in the lives of young people. Thank you so very much. I have to give a shout out to somebody.
Would you mind to take a few questions?
Oh, sure. No.
Okay.
Barry's asked me to take a few questions, and before I do that, I was telling him I have to give a shout out. I am a school board member for Newport News Public Schools. I want all my Newport News Public Schools friends to please stand and be recognized. Now, I love them, but I also want to be able to go back. But Barry said, any questions? Come on, it couldn't have been that good. Somebody ask me a question, please. Yeah. Come on, please. Okay, there's one right here, yes. Right here, yes, yes.
You mentioned a lot of books.
If we were to start with one out of all those books that you mentioned, which one would you
Why would
recommend
you give me
we
a
start
question
with?
like that? My question was, I mentioned a lot of books. Oh my God. You know what I can do? Eric have my email, and I'll list you or send all the books to you. And I probably, I like Willie Jolly's book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. That's where I got the Dream Busters concept from, and I've met him a couple times. I'm getting ready to blow it here. I am getting ready to release a book. A 60-year-old minute there. Yeah, I'm releasing a book called The Power in You, and I'm actually finishing the draft. I'm going to give it to the first editor Sunday. I'm going to Uganda, Africa, Tuesday to do some missions work, to work with some children there for about 2.5 weeks. It's called The Power in You, and all the things that you heard me talk about just now are going to be in the book, though. But the power is in you. The power is in us. I'm surprised somebody's asked me, an educator, that's what you are. You may not think of yourselves as a teacher, as an educator, but you're an educator. Educators come teach subject matter, and teachers go away. Educators understand some things. They understand their purpose. They understand about relationships. They understand with connecting with children. They understand 21st century learning. They start with why. That's what educators do. Educators are consistently and constantly purpose-driven. If you ask an educator what they teach, they would say, I teach kindergarten, 3rd grade, algebra. If you ask an educator what they teach, they would say, I teach and work with children. That's the difference there, okay? Dr. Jerome Barber's taught me that. Yes, ma'am.
Do you go to different schools and speak to the students?
Oh, yes, I do, yes. Okay. So I'll give you a card, I have a card. Excuse me?
How can we get a hold of you?
I'll give you a card, yes. Okay, I don't want to look back at Eric because I know I'm taking too much time and Barry. Are they looking at me real hard? Okay, I don't want to, okay, yes.
You've told us eloquently how to encourage students. You've told us eloquently how to treat them. When we treat them with dignity and respect, and we encourage them to be victors, and then we send them home, where do you see the parents fitting into this wonderful thing that we're going to do as educators at school?
Okay. The question was, we give them dignity, respect, we care for them, we really promote them, do everything we possibly can do. But when they go home, and they don't receive that, what is the challenge that we have? And I think the best way I can answer that is in the most sensitive, caring, respectful way. The best way I can answer that is this, and I hope it doesn't sound negative. Please, I don't want it to sound negative. But Dr. Stephen Covey's first effective habit is to be proactive. One of the things that he teaches is you focus on what you can control. Okay? Now, you heard me say I have always taught in a Title I school. I live in the East End of what's called Newport News. I live in the East End. That's why I wanted to buy my house. I've been living there for about 18 years. And I see all kinds of things in the East End of Newport News. I see that. But what I have to do is focus that when I have those children for 6.5 to 7 hours, can I take a couple minutes to share with you what I do? Because one of the things that I did as a kindergarten teacher, and maybe if they let me come back, I'll show the video. In my kindergarten class, always taught in a Title I school, I taught the academics, but I also taught children about life. Okay? My kindergarten students did what's called the leader in me every single day. What was the leader in me? For 55 to 60 minutes every single day during the language arts block, a kindergarten student would run the class. I never called my kindergarten child a helper. I said, you are the leader. I taught them about leadership and everything. You'll be glad to know where you are. I taught them what a GPA is. I taught them what honors classes are. I taught them what advanced placement is. I told them the difference between a job and career. I told them all those type of things because I know when they go back home, they're not going to hear that. So it was up to me while I had them to do those type of things. I was right next to Heritage High School. Whoever the salutatorian of Heritage High School was, or the valedictorian, I had them come read to my children. How did you get a 4.2 GPA? How come you don't have to pay any money to go to college? Share with them what a scholarship is. Share with them, that's what I did, those type of things. So when I had them for those 6.5 hours, that's what it was. I'd encourage them about reading. Guest speakers would come in. I had them come in like there's no tomorrow. Another thing in which I did when I was teaching at Andrews Pre-K through 8, any Hampton people here? Okay, when I was teaching in Hampton City Schools at Andrews Pre-K through 8, I was teaching kindergarten, but I was mentoring 7th and 8th grade boys. So what I did is I went to my wonderful principal, Dr. Donna Warthen, and said, you know what I want to do with these boys? I want to take these boys from the school, a lot of them lived on Shell Road, and I wanted to take them to Dr. Anthony Sibley's house in Yorktown. And it came back that my principal loved the idea. It went up to the administration, and he said, no, how come Dr. Sibley cannot come to Andrews and talk to the kids? Anybody see the problem with that? He's a doctor. He lives in Yorktown. His wife's a doctor. So when we approached it again and got approved, I put about 25 boys on the bus, middle school boys, and took them into Yorktown. When those boys who live on Shell Road in a poverty situation got to travel into Yorktown and see those homes, it blew their mind. It blew their mind. Then they go in and they see a doctor and his wife. All 25 boys could fit in Dr. Sibley's living room. Okay? And I got to tell you, I was amazed too. But, no. But you know, that is what we're charged to do. So one of the things, because you have a good question, one of the things I encourage you to do is, there's a blog, and the blog is called Leadership Freak. That's the blog, and Dr. Kilgore showed it to me. One of the things as we're working with young people, tell them to put an S on everything, and we have to do that also. Put an S on everything. Instead of saying, what's my option, what are my options? Instead of saying, what's my strategy, what are my strategies? Instead of saying, what's my method, what are my methods? So you get them to kind of think about there's one way. Remember what I said about Daniel Pink and drive? One of the things he says that helps internal motivation is autonomy. You got to have different ways to do things. And when we get our children to critically think about different ways to do things for success, it empowers and helps them. So very, very good question, but those are things which I did. And I'll give you my email and phone number. I'll be more than happy to tell you additional things that I did with them. But while I had them, it was just that I was going to go ahead and do things. Very quickly, I did an etiquette thing with them. Etiquette. I told them when you graduate, you are not going to have a job. You are so excellent, you're going to have a career. So I had a group, actually, that I brought to here, and they did the etiquette thing. I taught them how to use 3 forks. What's a salad fork? What's an entree fork? What's a dessert fork? How do you cut your meat? How do you break your bread? How do you go ahead and have a cloth napkin and place it in front of you? Then I had Dr. Charlotte Fairchild come and speak to them. She is a corporate executive for GE. See, one of the things that when you're in a position, I'm sorry, if I get in trouble for this, I just get in trouble for this. When you're in a position, God wants to see, what are you going to do in your position? Okay? I made you a school board member. You were elected a school board member. You were not opposed 2 times, but what are you going to do with where I placed you? So since I have connections and everything like that, I brought them to that situation there. And they got to do all those type of things and listen to a corporate executive from GE talk about success and vision. So those type of things. So once they are exposed to those things, now you change it to get that internal and intrinsic motivation into them, and those are things that help. Okay. I think there was one more question. I don't want to look back at Barry. Eric, that was it? Okay. All righty. I once again really want to thank you and encourage you to encourage your children to reach for the sky. Reach for the sky and tell them that the sky is the limit. Anything that you put your mind to and you have that growth mindset to do, you can achieve and accomplish. Once again, may God bless you. Thank you.